May 10, 1940, 5:35 a.m. Eastern France, near the Belgian border. The morning is quiet, too quiet. Mist hangs low over the fields, clinging to barbed wire and concrete bunkers like a thin veil of comfort. Inside a Maginot Line casemate, French soldiers sip lukewarm coffee, boots resting against reinforced steel doors. The walls around them are meters thick. Above their heads, turrets, artillery, machine guns, power generators hum steadily. Everything works. Outside, in nearby villages, civilians are waking up to another spring day. Bakers open shutters. Farmers check their fields. Radios murmur softly in kitchens. France feels safe. For nearly a decade, the Maginot Line has been more than concrete and steel. It has been a promise, a national reassurance. After the slaughter of the First World War, Verdun, the Somme, millions dead, France swore never again. And so they built the strongest defensive system the world had ever seen. Fortresses buried deep underground, artillery that could rotate and retract, entire garrisons living beneath the earth, supplied with electricity, ventilation, rail systems. To the French public, the Maginot Line was invincible, and for years it worked exactly as intended. You can almost feel the confidence. Generals believed no army would dare assault it directly. Politicians spoke of it as a shield that guaranteed peace. Civilians trusted it like a stone wall against chaos. If Germany attacked, it would be stopped here. That belief shaped everything. French strategy assumed the next war would resemble the last, slow, methodical defensive. Any German advance, it was believed, would be forced into Belgium, where French and British armies would meet them head-on. The Maginot Line anchored the eastern frontier. The rest would take care of itself. But at this very moment, as French soldiers lean back in their bunkers, something is already moving. Far to the northeast, beyond the Ardennes forest, an area French planners had dismissed as impassable for tanks, columns of German armor are rolling forward. Engines rumble under camouflage nets. Panzer divisions move in silence, headlights dimmed, officers checking watches. General Guderian is on the move. The Ardennes is dense, winding, unforgiving terrain, narrow roads, thick forests, steep valleys. French doctrine said tanks could never pass through it in strength. German doctrine said otherwise. Hour by hour, thousands of vehicles funnel through forest roads, tanks, trucks, artillery, fuel carriers, an entire mechanized army compressed into a corridor of trees. Traffic jams stretch for kilometers. One airstrike could bring chaos, but the skies remain clear. French reconnaissance aircraft miss them. Reports that do come in are dismissed as exaggerated. Commanders believe the main attack will come farther north, where it always has. Inside Maginot forts, there is no alarm, no sirens, no artillery fire, no sense of urgency. The line stands perfect and unused, and that is the cruel irony. The Maginot Line is not failing, it is doing exactly what it was designed to do, guard a threat that never comes. By midday, German forces reach the Meuse River near Sedan. Engineers rush forward under fire, throwing bridges across the water. Luftwaffe Stukas scream down from the sky, bombing French positions into submission. French units, spread thin and poorly coordinated, begin to break. Still, many refuse to believe it. French high command hesitates. Orders are delayed. Counterattacks are planned on paper while German tanks are already moving again. Inside the Maginot Line, soldiers listen to distant radio reports that don't quite make sense. Breakthroughs at Sedan, that can't be right. The Ardennes was supposed to protect them. Civilians too cling to reassurance. The fortresses are there, the army is strong, Paris is far away, but the German advance doesn't slow, it accelerates. Panzer columns burst out of the Ardennes like a released spring, fanning westward and northward, slicing behind Allied armies marching into Belgium. Entire French and British units suddenly find themselves surrounded, cut off from supplies, command and retreat. And still the Maginot Line stands, untouched, silent, powerful, useless. For the men inside its bunkers, a terrible realization begins to form. The war they prepared for is not the war they are fighting. Their concrete walls face east, while the enemy races behind them. The fortresses were never meant to move, and now neither can France. As night falls on May 10th, German tanks push deeper into French territory, headlights blazing. Refugees begin to clog the roads. Radios across the country crackle with confusion and disbelief. The shield France trusted for a decade has been bypassed in a single day, and the collapse has only just begun. May 13th, 1940, Sedan, late afternoon. The Meuse River is no longer a barrier. Smoke hangs over the water as German engineers scramble across hastily built pontoon bridges. French artillery fires blindly through the haze, shells landing too far too late. Above them the sky screams, Ju-87 Stukas diving almost vertically, sirens howling, bombs tearing open the hillsides and trench lines. French soldiers hug the ground, stunned by the violence. Many have never experienced air attack like this. Communications are severed. Officers shout orders that no one hears. Within hours, German infantry is across the river. Behind them come the tanks. Panzers roll forward in tight formations, engines roaring, radios crackling with constant updates. This is not the slow, grinding advance French doctrine prepared for. This is speed, coordination, relentless pressure. General Guderian does not wait. He pushes his divisions forward without pause, ignoring cautious orders from higher command to slow down. Every hour matters, every delay risks Allied air attack or a counterstrike. The gamble works. French defensive lines around Sedan crumble. Units retreat in confusion, some without ever seeing the enemy that broke them. Rumors spread faster than orders, German tanks everywhere, panic seeps in. By the next day the breakthrough is undeniable. German armored columns surge westward, racing toward the Channel coast. They bypass strongpoints, leave pockets of resistance behind and keep moving. The French army, designed to fight set-piece battles, cannot react fast enough. Meanwhile, Allied forces in Belgium are marching in the wrong direction. British and French units, following pre-war plans, advance north to meet what they believe is the main German attack. Instead, the real threat is now behind them. Supply lines are severed. Communications break down. The trap is closing. Inside the Maginot Line, officers listen in disbelief. Reports contradict everything they were taught. German tanks are not attacking the fortresses. They are flowing around them, deep, fast, unstoppable. Some garrisons request permission to redeploy. The answer is no. Their mission remains unchanged: hold the line, but the line no longer matters. Civilians begin to flee. Entire towns empty almost overnight. Roads clog with carts, cars, bicycles. Families carrying what they can as Luftwaffe aircraft strafe the columns from above. The sound of engines becomes a source of terror. Paris listens to the radio and waits for reassurance. None comes. On May 20th, German units reach the English Channel at Abbeville. In 10 days, France has been cut in two. The British expeditionary forces trapped in the north. French armies are fragmented, exhausted, and leaderless. What was once unthinkable is now reality. The Maginot Line still stands intact, undefeated, but the country it was meant to protect is collapsing behind it. And in Paris, the unspoken question finally surfaces: if the strongest defenses in Europe were meaningless, what chance does the capital have? June 14, 1940. Paris, dawn. The streets are silent, no gunfire, no last stand, just the sound of boots echoing through empty avenues as German troops march beneath the Arc de Triomphe. Swastika flags hang from buildings that days earlier flew the tricolor. Paris, the heart of France, has fallen without a fight. The decision to abandon the city came quickly, too quickly for many to process. French leaders knew the truth before the public did. The army was shattered. Units were retreating or surrendering in fragments. Supply depots were lost. Communications barely existed. To defend Paris would mean destruction, not victory, so the capital was declared an open city. Civilians who had fled now watched from roadsides and countryside hills as the enemy entered their capital. Some cried, some stared in numb disbelief. The war they believed would be stopped at the border had arrived in the center of their world. Inside the Maginot Line, the realization was brutal. The fortresses were never breached. Many would not fire a single shot in anger. Their guns remained clean, their walls unscarred, yet orders finally arrived to surrender, sometimes weeks later after the armistice was signed. For the soldiers inside, it felt like betrayal by geography and doctrine alike. On June 22, 1940, France signed the armistice at Compiègne, in the same railway carriage where Germany had surrendered in 1918. The symbolism was deliberate. The message was clear. A nation that trusted in concrete and memory had been defeated by speed and imagination. The Maginot Line did not fail because it was weak. It failed because the war had changed, and France had not. And as German troops settled into Paris, the world understood something terrifying. Modern war would no longer be decided by walls, but by movement.